Hi everyone, this is Stan, your favorite Polish Taiwan YouTuber. Hope you're all having a great day. Welcome to today's show. Recently, the Carnegie Center published a very interesting article by Singaporean political science researcher Chong Jia-Yan. The article described how different countries treat China's One China principle differently, each of them having different policies towards China. Most of the countries are only acknowledging or taking note of CCP's One China principle. Basically, One China principle is China's claims over Taiwan. Even though, in some cases, the states decide to say that they recognize China's claims in their policy documents, but in reality it doesn't mean that they would follow. For example, Poland and Czechia had our representative offices in Taiwan for a very long time. These are de facto embassies, and they have the same functions as the embassies of the other countries. There is also an example of Lithuania that established their office in Taiwan, and at the same time Taiwan opened its office in Vilnius. The name of Taiwan's de facto embassy in Lithuania also has the word Taiwan in it instead of Taipei. So the countries recognize each other, establish embassies, but just don't call them embassies, because there is a bully that threatens the whole world with attacking Taiwan. Then why do the countries have such a perfunctory attitude towards China's principle? Well, that's an easy one, because everybody knows it clearly. Taiwan is not a part of China, and the United States policies and its attitude only confirms the fact. Let's also not forget that China really likes to coerce the countries economically and then force them to make political decisions in China's favor. What they do is simply bribe some of the politicians and try to influence the political environment in the country through them. They steal the natural resources like that, they spy and steal technology like that, and at the end they make a puppet state out of your country. And you know, cooperation with China didn't make a single country rich and developed. Quite the opposite. They all become more corrupt and their economies suffer in the end. And here are some examples. Sri Lanka, Venezuela, Iran, and Nicaragua. And actually, it's just a reminder for everyone that going against established facts, namely that Taiwan has never belonged to China, is an extremely unethical thing to do. It is widely recognized internationally that the CCP run China is a country that has never followed with its commitments. And dealing with such a country requires using its own weapons against it. In other words, we also should become inconsistent. Under such circumstances, we should start reluctantly maintaining contact, shrink interactions with the CCP to bare minimum. Don't forget that most countries, both developed and developing, have found that engaging with the CCP has more downsides than benefits. Therefore, maintaining a certain level of relationships with Taiwan is the best weapon to use against the CCP. Yes, the CCP resonators in Taiwan would tell you that Taiwan is just a pawn, as the only thing they can do is spread Chinese propaganda. But in reality, I believe that Taiwan is the strongest weapon against the CCP. Just imagine there is a vibrant democracy right at China's doors. Taiwan's existence constantly reminds the CCP's regime of its illegitimacy and serves as a mirror that reflects the CCP's lies. For example, Xi Jinping's attempt to portray China's system as a full process democracy, which in reality means that it's not a democracy at all, or the CCP's packaging authoritarian rule as socialism with Chinese characteristics, which in reality means that it's not socialism and there is nothing Chinese in it. Or them trying to say that their system is in line with traditional Chinese values is just a mere lie and an attempt to find excuses for totalitarianism. In addition, Chong Jia-Yan also mentioned that Russia's attitude towards CCP's claim of One China principle is based on respect and support over CCP's position on Taiwan. But in fact, even Russia's attitude towards the so-called principle is the same as China's attitude towards any commitment. It's only for personal reference. So it actually depends on the relationships between Putin, the people around him, and the CCP. After the start of Russia's war against Ukraine, Putin has repeatedly publicly declared that Taiwan is a part of China, which has already stated the position of the Russian regime. Therefore, as long as Putin is in power, his attitude towards Taiwan will be in line with what the CCP and Xi Jinping says. In my opinion, in the future, countries around the world will have more obvious changes in the way they address the CCP's One China principle, especially while the CCP's threat to global security is only rising. More countries would strengthen their support to Taiwan's sovereignty and independence with time. Strengthening exchanges with Taiwan only shows that the CCP is the troublemaker here. Whenever you decide to cooperate with Taiwan, the CCP always shows its disrespect to all international norms of conduct. In my opinion, Taiwanese should also spend more time analyzing the current global trends and stop listening to the CCP's resonators who portray Taiwan as a pawn. In the end, Taiwan is not a pawn. Taiwan is the strongest weapon against the global spread of totalitarianism. So providing this democratic country with support is our duty. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please press like, subscribe, and share. This is Stan. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!